Welcome to Digging with Doug. I'm Doug Oster from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and if one more person tells me fall is their favorite time of the year, it's going to get ugly. Today we're talking all about making your own compost, and part of that is using all these leaves you see here, even if you don't live in an oak forest like this. Let's go down into the garden and we'll talk about making compost and how easy it is. Well, this is the compost pile, and it ain't pretty. These were built 11 years ago, and it's time for a rebuild. I built these out of pallets, and now they're rotted away. Let's talk about the things we're going to put in here to make compost. And the first thing you have to do is you've got to split the waste stream inside the house, with stuff coming out from the kitchen. So what we have here is eggshells, fruit peelings, coffee grounds. Anything that once was living will become compost. The only thing we don't want to put in here are meats and oils and dairy, and that will decompose, but that will also bring rodents, and we don't want that. Now, we're out here in the middle of the woods, and nothing really bothers us because we don't have those meats, oils, and dairy in here. So I brought some stuff from the kitchen and from the yard to put in here. And in my system, I've got 3 different piles. This one is the active pile. We just fill this up and we leave it and we just let it rot. It'll take 2 seasons to become nice, crumbly compost. We'll take a look at that in a second. But then, when this one gets filled up, the next one starts filling, and then the third one gets filling, and it's just over and over again. That's how it works. By the time we get that second one or third one filled up, this one's ready to go. So basically all we're doing is we're dumping in what we brought from the kitchen and from the garden. These are from horseradish, the top of horseradish, and this will be great compost. Now, if we can, we want everything to be shredded before we put it in here, and that's when we're going to talk about our leaves. Let's go over to the other side of the garden and we'll see just how we can shred up those leaves easily. One thing that people worry about is what a compost pile is going to smell like, and when it's properly maintained, you don't smell it at all. Sometimes if it gets too wet, you'll smell like a fruit rind smell, and all you have to do is get in there and kind of mix it up a little bit, and it'll be gone in a day. But what we're going to do now is we're going to shred up some leaves. Now you could just cut them up with a lawnmower after you've raked them up, or put them into a garbage can like this, and then we're going to take the weed whacker and go in there and shred them up. The trick to a great compost pile is mixing the green things, like the things out of the kitchen and out of the garden, with some of this brown stuff like leaves and small twigs, even unbleached paper towels. That's what we call the brown materials. We mix those 50-50, you're going to get great compost, you're going to get it quicker. In my compost pile there, I really don't pay any attention to that ratio. I just put in what I put in and it becomes compost. But to get it as fast as possible, you want 50% by volume of the browns and 50% of the greens. So let's see if we can get our weed whacker started up here and get this started. The thing is, the smaller anything is that you put into the compost pile, the quicker it's going to decompose. Well, we've turned a whole garbage can filled with leaves down to just that. We could probably chew them up a little bit more. And basically what we're looking for is, after we add that to our green matter, this is what we're going to come up with. And this is what we're hoping for from our compost pile. This is sweet smelling and the best thing for your plants. So you'll see some little eggshell bits in here and little leaves and such, but that's okay. Sometimes something bigger like a corn cob, we'll just throw that right next door in the next pile and it'll decompose. But the compost, when you put that in a planting hole, that's all the plants need. And another great thing about it is that we're recycling our own waste. You'll be surprised how much stuff you're not taking out to the curb when you have a compost pile. Everybody should have a compost pile, and the thing is, it doesn't have to be 3 pallets over there. Compost bins come in lots of different shapes. And there's one over here close to the house that I want to show you that makes compost very quickly. Check this bad boy out. This is a composter that keeps the compost moving, and that's an important part of getting it sooner. This thing brags you can get compost in 15 days. That's with optimum ingredients and temperatures, but you do get compost a lot quicker. What we do is we load this up with compost, fill it up about 3/4 of the way, and we stop. And every day, we just rotate it. It's completely empty now because we're waiting. This is going to be our winter composting because the house is right there. And the funny story about this composter is, for those of you that read the column in the Post-Gazette, you know that I'm really cheap. And I saw this thing on the side of the road, went to the business next door, said, hey, give them that thing away. They pointed me next door, drove to the next place, was a massage parlor. So I had to go inside this massage parlor after getting off TV with my TV outfit on. And I knew as soon as I came out of that massage parlor, it would be a truckload of garden-loving priests driving by going, what's that guy doing coming out of the massage parlor? But actually it was a friend of mine drove by as I was pointing out saying, are you giving that thing away? And the look on her face was one of surprise. So this was a free addition to the garden. And as I said, getting that compost moving, whether it's here or out in the garden, is an important part to getting it quicker. Every time you turn the compost over, you get it 50% quicker. And let's go back to the compost pile and I'll show you exactly how we do that. Basically what happens here is when everything is built up here, as it decomposes, it gets hot. And all the microorganisms and bigger organisms that are in here, eating up what's in here, that's what decomposes into nice black gold. Great compost. And turning it over gets air in there. I've got a friend with a radio show over in Philadelphia says, anybody who tells you that they turn over their compost pile is a liar, because it's hard. And I don't usually turn mine over, I'm just showing you how to do it. Making compost is easy. It just means piling up anything that once was living, and eventually it will become compost. Now remember, if you've got any questions about making compost or things we do on Digging with Doug, or you want to see past episodes of Digging with Doug, log on to www.post-gazette.com/homes and click on the Gardening Forum button. That's a place where you can ask questions. Also, you can see my blog and videos of Falling Water, Kentuck Knob, Old Economy Village, and other things at the PG members only site called PG+. Until then, I guess I got to pretend to keep turning over this compost. And it ain't easy. Well, let's see if we can get our weed whacker started up here and get this started. Oh, no wonder. I got it turned off.